Hello everyone, welcome to RendisMind. In this video series, we go from idea to possible goal-oriented conception, where we take one creative idea and we take the chaotic process of my mind and format it into something that could possibly be fulfilled. And you can take this example and run with it yourself, or you can modify it, do something similar, or use this as a guide to anything in your life. If you don't know me, I'm Rendi. In my young adult life, I've experienced quite a bit. I've ran a YouTube channel full-time with 160,000 subscribers, where I had solved many problems inside of a game that require complex out-of-the-box solutions and creative means. I founded and ran a regional marketing agency called Digital Gold in Northeast Oklahoma, and I've been in marketing inside of corporate. I've also ran comedy sketches on my channel Rendi versus the World, as well as on my main channel here. So I've conceptualized comedy sketches from the idea to the script to directing people where to stand to the final product and even video editing. I have my master's in business administration, and basically what we're going to do on this channel is dissect my mind and how I come to a solution on any problem. And this is because I am known across my old channel for solving problems, but only inside a game. So why not take this to the real world and take you on the journey with me? I'll be covering many topics on this channel, and I'll show how I can format my chaotic mind into a goal-driven oriented machine. So if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. Leave me a positive comment. That actually really helps the algorithm. A lot of people don't know this, but this is the new form of YouTube using Gemini AI. And this is just a little mantra, a little manifestation here. I am a little bit superstitious, but yes, I believe whoever uses this idea or something similar who's watching this, give me feedback in the future. Tell me if this worked or you apply this to something in your life and that worked, and I would be happy to talk with you on Discord, possibly put your success story on my website, which is linked in the description below. And if you want one-on-one consulting, I do hourly consulting with one-on-one conversation about anything, not oil and gas, not medical advice, not legal advice. Yeah, we are going to be conceptualizing today what I think is a possible business model and how you can go about selling a product, specifically high-end wallets or any high-end product. Now, why I chose high-end wallets is I did some research. The wallet industry is not that saturated. It's not like high-end fashion where you have lots of drops and releases from all these wannabe brands that are constantly releasing their high-end fashion designs, even things such as Supreme, which aren't really high-end. They're just tees with box logos on them. But even further on into higher end fashion, it's such a saturated market with clothing that I wanted to look into something a little bit different as well. In my research, I found out that wallets actually usually have a lower cost. So there's a higher net profit margin when cost of goods sold is obviously compared to the revenue of the product. So let's take on our dreams and put them onto a piece of paper. The first half of this will be very broad, can be applicable to any business. The further I get into the video, the more product specifications, cost analysis comes into play. Yeah, so let's start this off. High-end wallets or any high-end product, these are great. There's low barriers to entry. For a high-end product, you can charge almost whatever you want. It's the brand that makes the money. It's not the quality of the product. Although if you are manufacturing a high-end product and marketing it, I would definitely suggest that you use high-quality material, or at least, medium to high-quality material. It depends on how high-end your wallets are going to be, obviously, and what you're going to price them at. If you're looking into getting into business and you don't have a lot of time, service industry is going to be a no-go. So we're in product industry, and you want a product that does not have to have high sales volume if you're starting off, because you only have the money and the time to make so many of these, right? And you're just getting started. You haven't yet outsourced your material and your product manufacturing to a foreign country yet, like Turkey. There's no outsourcing initially needed, because no matter what, you're going to sell this for a high price, and your cost of goods sold can be pretty high as well, because at first you're just establishing a brand. It doesn't matter if your profit margin is low, because you're obviously not going to start this off looking for an instant profit, as well as because if you have no sales experience, if you're just getting started in any type of industry, a product that you're going to price this much, you just need to make one sale versus, hundreds. You don't have to get into SEO marketing. You don't have to get into purchasing ad space anywhere. You can literally go on the street and sell one product, and you're going to start making money. You're going to start seeing results very fast. A lot of brands start out with a kind of a lower tier name and then go for higher. I would suggest always starting out with a kind of an aura to your brand, an already high end, so people can't say why at one point was this product $100 and now all of a sudden it's $200. You can't just say, oh, because the brand recognition has gotten better. People don't understand that. And if you start out something initially at a high price, you'd be surprised what people will pay for something that they really want. And rich people, when they want something, they're looking for it. You don't need to really convince them as much either. That's why selling selling a high-end product is actually much easier as a sale. And once again, you only have to sell it to that one person or that handful of people to make a good, nice profit margin. So look for a product that's not oversaturated or that doesn't have a unique twist to it that you've seen. Don't do the same thing everyone else is doing. So you've seen companies like Ridge, and then just like standard companies like Polo, they make wallets. This is like a bifold. This is like a metal. But do you ever really see something that's a mix of the two? Maybe people want the RFID technology that the Ridge offers to protect their cards, but they want, you know, a nice soft inside of the wallet that doesn't scuff their cards up. Because I've used both. Trust me, this, even with the barrier that it has and the cards being right next to each other like they are, really scuffs up your credit cards and your IDs quickly. So these both have different optimal appeals. This one is also traditionally, people do like the design of a bifold standard leather wallet more than the Ridge. And these are both high price wallets. So why can't you just combine the two and make a metal exterior and a faux leather or leather interior or anything like that? So there might be a few of these out there, but I've done the research and there's not very many. There's like one or two I've seen. And so that's where the research comes in. You got to do the research, find a way to adjust a product in the high-end marketplace to where it fits a niche like this. This is very niche and there's almost no competition, if any. So you're able to stand out from the crowd instantly. You already have a selling point right there. I'm different from the rest. And you can even take that further by just appeal. Do you believe you have good taste in style? Like, are you Rick Rubin? Are you good at just seeing something and being like, yeah, that looks good? If you're not, maybe consult someone who does have that kind of eye for fashion, design, interior decorating, anything like that. A woman has a lot of that. I have a lot of feminine qualities to me, okay? But a woman usually has a great eye, even for men's fashion. So contact your wife if nothing else, or me in the description below. But my idea for this wallet, I feel like I know it looks good and what can sell, especially to people who are looking for high-end fashion. And I want something different. Always distinguish yourself. Even if you think it's ridiculous sometimes, try it out. So my idea to even further distinguish this is a high quality precious metal exterior. What if we take the interior and we make it like a faux snakeskin? Because I've researched some of the very high class wallets that are over $1,000 have snakeskin interior, which actually you could do a real snakeskin. It's not that expensive. You do a real snakeskin, looking at maybe $40 a wallet. You do a faux, maybe 10. And this is like making the prototype. This isn't like wholesale prices, right? You don't need a lot of money to start this. You can make a prototype, sell one, and see how it goes. Or pitch it to someone who can invest and make more. And that's whenever you focus eventually on lowering the cost. But on a high-end product where you can price it at pretty much like whatever you want to, your cost of goods sold is not going to matter that much once again. And that's why I feel like this is a great starter product or industry to get into. So a high quality metal, I don't think I put that in there, with a precious exterior, faux snakeskin leather, but that acts as a functional bifold. So I think I'm good at design. Basically, it's going to have a leather binding on the internal area of the wallet. This is going to be a metal plated exterior, and then you're not going to be able to see the leather binding. And the other side is going to have another metal plated exterior to it. But when you open the wallet, the whole idea in my conception here is it looks just like a regular leather wallet, or maybe one with just like card slots on either side. And then this is like a faux snakeskin design inside the interior with a gold, maybe gold plated if you want to save money, but also it's going to be harder to pitch and sell it as a high quality good exterior. These are like the little card slots, by the way. I'm not the greatest at drawing, but you got like 8 card slots in a protected leather interior that's actually fashionable and flashy, as well as an exterior that you could possibly use a mold to form into a unique pattern or do an etching like on the middle, or you could brand it in the corner with your brand so you get brand recognition, then do a patterned etching all on the exterior like a floral imprint on the precious metal. This is where AI can help you a lot with cost of goods sold, and where you can research prices of things and like how many feet of metal do I need to hit this square area of this? How many feet of faux snakeskin interior do I need to hit this square area of this? What's the average cost per square foot of faux leather snakeskin? And what's the cost of maybe the gold of the precious metal if you're going for a gold plated, gold vermeil, or like a gold filled that's going to take to put on the outside of the bronze, an electroplate, and possibly even using a rolling plate if you're using a gold filled exterior? What's the cost of all this? How do I make a prototype? You know, it's actually probably easier than you think. You can get a custom rolling plate made through Etsy to bind the gold to the bronze to make it gold filled. You could even get an electroplating kit from pretty much anywhere, make your own at home and do gold plated material if you want to save even more on cost. But with each of these steps, obviously you're going to have to diminish the price, whether you pick gold plated, gold filled, gold vermeil. But yeah, using AI as a resource here for especially the cost of goods and how much of each good you'll need before just making a prototype of a product like this is going to be super useful. And that's how I would go about it. You can also back up the research AI gives you, obviously, by doing Google searches and, you know, looking at price points, obviously from articles, and determine the pricing that way. But it's just much quicker, more streamlined of a process if you know the raw numbers and what you're getting into, especially with something like this. For instance, I found out through AI that the average wallet for a bifold is 32.5 inches of material front and back. And if you look at a ridge wallet, it uses about 100 grams of metal, but it's a thick barrier. It uses like a titanium or stainless steel. So this also isn't high-end metal. So we're already hitting another target market. We're now doing high-end metal wallets as well as adding that leather interior to the wallet, something that hasn't really been done. This is a legal monopoly in a way, but this is a thick barrier on a ridge wallet. You probably only need about, estimation, 50 grams of metal on something that would plate an external leather bifold wallet. Ignore that. Don't look at that. I messed up. For gold vermeil, it's a good selling point. It's a good thing just to say, honestly. But also, it is a higher grade of material. You have to use a sterling instead of a copper or bronze internal filling into the metal. So we're looking at like 50 grams of sterling, which honestly, at a consumer price, you could buy that for probably $70. Then we're looking at you need 1 gram of 10 karat gold to call it gold vermeil, which is about $46. And then the faux snakeskin you can probably get off Etsy for $10. You could add a clasp to this. I was thinking something like a coin purse, like an old antique coin purse clasp. You don't want to do a magnetic clasp because that might actually ruin the credit cards. But that'd probably be another $3 to add a clasp. We're looking at $129 just in cost of goods for a gold vermeil. Now this is once again a selling point because a lot of people don't even know what this is. You say that, they'll think it's like, oh my God, it's good. It is actually much better than, as you'll see, gold plated. Gold plated, you actually need 0.1 gram of 10 karat gold to call something gold plated in comparison to the 50 grams. We're looking at $4.60 of gold. I mean, you'll have to do electroplating, which might cost some money for a kit. Same with this, but that's like a one-time fee, and then the other fee is just your time because you're just making a prototype at this stage. Eventually, you'll have to pay people to manufacture this kind of thing, but at that point, I feel like you're outsourcing and externalizing so much of your work that actually the wholesale costs of these go down as well. So with the gold plated though, you don't even have to use sterling silver. You can use copper. That's $6. And once again, the faux interior, we're looking at like $10 again for that. So this is literally a $20.60 cost. Honestly, you could sell something 10 karat gold plated. Ridge actually sold a gold plated wallet. So they do have some precious metals, but they're just gold plated. They're the lowest tier of precious metal wallet that I could find, and also the highest at the same time. But they tend to sell those for $150. And they don't even have the faux interior. They're just a stock interior that you can slide all your cards into. Obviously, there's some other material. Forgot the clasp as well for $3. So $23.60, but $23, $25 on a bad day with the electroplating over time, you know, this is nothing. And you could probably, they sell theirs for $150 because yours has a unique design to it. There's a lot of already off-brand ridges that sell for probably $25, made in China, manufactured without the gold plating, obviously. But you could probably sell something like this comparable to Ridge with the proper branding and marketing easily. $200, $175 net profit. For meal, I feel like it would be a little bit more difficult. You would have more of a selling point saying it's for meal. You could probably sell it at like $250, but then again, your profit's going to be less. And the difference, honestly, gold for meal is not that great of a quality from what I've researched. Plating is like not great either, but it's not much worse per se. But gold filled, that's like a whole nother level. Gold filled, you'll probably want to do this with sterling for it to be, you know, a naturally gold filled piece. So once again, we're looking at 50 grams of sterling, $70. Then we're looking at 2.5 grams of 10 karat gold. So that's 115. And then you got the faux leather interior. I mean, at this point, you might want to even go full snake. And this gold filled piece will probably never tarnish, honestly. It'll take years to tarnish gold filled jewelry. So it's much higher quality. You could definitely brand it as much higher quality, but the interior might fade over time. So at this point, I believe you should go for full snake interior. You got $40, $230, let's say. This is just prototype fee. These are just major estimates here. Obviously this is going to cost more, but if you can market something that's durable and that lasts over time, you're going to see a lot more profit because people are going to say, hey, wow, the gold on this has lasted more than my gold plated jewelry, and it's a wallet. I carry this around me everywhere. You kind of need something that's durable and material. So you could probably market something like this initially at $500, and you might say that's a lot, but if you advertise something as gold filled with a true snakeskin interior, with what I'll show you here in a moment. Also use AI for conceptual imaging, not obviously like exactly what you want things to look like because that's impossible, but I'm going to show you some examples I had here. So this is the material I was looking at. You could easily make a mold and smelt the exterior of the gold plate and bond it to the internal sterling silver with a pattern like this, not even an etching. Any kind of floral pattern, any kind of weird asymmetrical pattern. They have pre-made patterns as well on Etsy, but if you want to get more creative with it, you could make your own mold and actually experiment with this. Another idea I had is they have real calf skin, but it's reptile printed leather. So this would still be as durable, and this is way more leather than you're going to need for one wallet, by the way. Lower the cost about $20 on this side of cost of goods sold. But this is conceptually the AI I kind of built is going to have a coin purse like clasp, so it's going to have an antique look to it. This is kind of the pattern I was going for the internal, but there's obviously going to be lined strips that are going to be there for card holding. So very basic, small, not too much metal, but also it's going to have enough space for cards and protect them in a cowskin or snakeskin interior. Also the external area that's gold filled. This looks more leather based on the image that AI generated me here, but this is going to be an external metal area. This middle piece obviously isn't going to be metal. It's going to have to be able to bend and fold. So that's still going to be leather externally on the band of the wallet. But conceptually, you can kind of visualize what I'm going for here. And there's nothing like this out here. And you might say $500 is a lot. But high-end wallets I was looking at with snakeskin interiors that have just normal leather exteriors, some are going for $1,200. When you have a product that is super unique in multiple ways, not just even one, this is something that really does not exist in the marketplace right now. And there's a lot of products out there. So once again, if you want to take this idea and run on it, some of these numbers might be adjusted, obviously, but the idea is still there. And in concept, how I figured this out was, once again, I just did my research on wallets and looked into the wallet marketplace, because a lot of things were suggesting if you want to get into any kind of high-end luxury good, wallets are the place to be, because the cost of goods are so low because the wallet is so small, but the profit margin, you can mark it up to an insane amount. You could make that product, like I said, for $230, bring it to an investor and show it to them and put up your business plan and say, hey, I want to sell this. Even an angel investor could help you with this. If you're not looking, to use your traditional assets and go get a small business loan, you can even take a product like this to GoFundMe once you have an actual piece conceptualized and you're able to put it on a video and show them the functionality of it and show them the unique design of it. Once these people see a physical product in front of them that you could probably manufacture yourself with a little bit of research and a little bit of material, because it's so small, you could probably much easier than you think find the funding for a product like this. Other conceptual images, AI can't get this perfectly right. As you can see, it's got embroidered gold internal placement. This was kind of more what I was looking for. It's got the card slots on either side. Obviously there's not going to be a metal band in the center, more like a black one, but this is just as well. Even just looking at like straight faux leather design patterns with no snakeskin, it still looks very classy with this kind of molded exterior that could flow into the interior in a weird way. But yeah, on Etsy you can find all these materials. You can find the gold you use for plating, you can find the electroplating equipment, you can find the faux snakeskin leather, even a calf leather, you can find faux leather if you just want a solid design like that. You could find all this material, just put something together as a craft, as a hobby, as long as it's unique enough of a product. It doesn't even have to be a wallet. As long as it's unique enough of a product, you could market this. And next, that's what I want to get into, is marketing something like this would be actually, I feel like, extremely easy. You could go to any high-end community, carry this on you, look the part, dress up nicely, pull it out, and try and get people's attention with this wallet and be like, oh yeah, I actually sell these wallets. So you want to check it out? I have a website here. Here's a gallery of all the different prototypes of wallets we're making, the different lines we're making, and you just pitch it to them. We only make a set number of these wallets, print out business cards, show them the wallet design on the business card. You could literally not even have an online marketing campaign for something like this and take it to boutiques, even though they'll take a cut off of how much margin you make, probably 30 or 40% at some of these high-end boutiques. You could still easily profit because you have the room to cut 30 to 40% off of a high-end good like this, because most of what you're pricing this good at is because of its uniqueness, the brand you're holding behind it, the stylization, and the fact that it's durable and made from high-end material. And over a course of time, people will realize that you've actually not just plated gold on a wallet, and they'll realize that this high-end object is actually high-end. And at that point, it's word of mouth, and bam, sales will drive upwards. Actually have the durability you advertise your product as, and you don't even need an online marketing campaign in this day's environment for a good like this. Although it would help you obviously with any kind of Instagram reel ad campaign or YouTube ad campaign. I would suggest Instagram reels because those are where a lot of the fashion community hang out. You see a lot of influencers flexing their wealth on Instagram of all the apps the most, and some of the more wealthier people are like 30 to 50 years old, and that's probably their main platform is Instagram reels, not TikTok, not YouTube. Make a website, obviously, make a landing page, business cards. But I would say the most important part to this, get your prototype out. You could use crowdfunding. You could use angel investors. If you have money, hell, you could just start this from scratch with a 50 product line at $230 cost. And then once you profit from that, so this would cost you $11,500 to do. And I feel like you could take the knowledge and actually learn how to use the same mold and bind gold enough times to sterling silver and make the brackets on this and do it yourself. If not, hire someone who is crafty enough to do this, and you would profit $11,000-ish. Say you pay someone $3,000 to make 50 wallets, you're still profiting $8,000, and you just scale up from there. And then you increase your brand, do different product lines, different kinds of leather inside, different exteriors, different designs on the exterior of the wallet. I was even thinking like a porcelain design, you know, something that looks more antique and retro that kind of fits the coin purse vibe. But there's all kinds of different routes you could go. You could go full sterling silver and the cost would actually go down. It would still be an extremely durable and metal and RFID protecting wallet. You could even go stainless steel with a unique enough a design on the front of it, and if it looks flashy enough with a black interior of sorts or a white interior, gray interior, it would still sell as long as it's got some etching on it, some decent unique molding design to it, as I don't see that on any wallet. You yourself are a monopoly. You're offering a one-of-a-kind high-end fashioned product, and this can be once again applicable to anything like clothing. Just make sure you distinguish yourself. If you distinguish yourself and just do a little bit of marketing on something that consumers wear, get the initial product out there, market it to people who have wealth. People who have wealth go out. They go to restaurants almost daily. Guess what they do at restaurants? They pull out wallets. So, word of mouth. Rich people have rich friends, and people will get questioned as to what wallet they're wearing. Initially, your brand is just going to organically grow by word of mouth, more than anything, more than Instagram. But obviously, you want to do everything you can to get your product's voice out there. So Instagram, if you're going to go a social media route, I would definitely recommend Instagram on this. From here, you could even expand into other high-end products. So let's say you already have the brand made at this point. You pretty much started with nothing, and this is just exponential growth. Word of mouth for a luxury wallet like this, you just need a tiny bit of marketing power. That's it. And it's going to sell over time. If you wanted to increase sales even more, you could add more product lines like a wallet chain. There's very uniquely styled wallet chains I've seen before, like ones with crosses on them, or I mean, you could make a wallet chain that's recognizable to your brand, so people would kind of like flex it like a Rolex, so they know that only this type of wallet is connected to the chain. You could literally weld it so the chain is not removable, so that people know that you're carrying this high-end wallet and it's clipped to you, so it's not like someone's going to yank it out. And there you go. There's more free marketing. People walking around with your product, people using your product because that's what they do, especially these high-end products. People want to wear them. They want to flex them. It's going to be just up and up and up as long as people start buying the product and as long as it lasts, because then people will keep wearing it. I mean, your lifetime customer base will go down because obviously you're not going to be able to sell it to one person over and over again, but that's when you're able to actually expand your product line to clothing, hats, accessories, and you can use your base product, your wallet, which is going to last forever, to then start getting into other products and expand more and more and more. And when you're already a high-end brand at that point who spent almost nothing to get started and your marketing power is so high in one product, it's easy to start expanding. Look at Hims. Now they're getting into erectile dysfunction, and then that's not even that related. I guess it is. It's all men, but they're taking one thing that's broadly related to their customer base and then making another product line beside it. And whenever fashion is next to fashion, it's pretty obvious you can sell it. All right, so the peanut butter and jelly breakdown of this idea. So we researched a product that kind of exists, but didn't. And in this, we combined two products for more wealth generation. Like, you just generated something that didn't exist, so now there's a market for it. In a way, this is kind of a monopoly, which eventually will get superseded by competing companies and, outsourced goods. So first, we don't need to focus on mass production. You want to focus on the quality design of the prototype. And once again, by focusing on the quality or the design of the prototype, you're able to get a physical product in front of people who might have money, who might be able to invest in it, or who might be able to pre-order it even and give you the money you need to make the wallet, such as through crowdfunding, Kickstarter. A lot of high-end fashion is based and developed on pre-orders. You want to invest in the prototype. I feel like this is a given from the last one. And knowledge. I feel like this is like Elon Musk. Like, he knows the process that goes into most of his products, but not like the more intricate workings of them. So he knows the vast design, but he has other people under him do that. But he still understands what he's selling. If you have the money, even if you have the money to shell out to wholesalers to make this product for you, at least get the general understanding of what your product is so you can market it properly. So you don't have to make the wallet yourself. You can have someone else make the prototype and the wallets eventually, obviously, because that's going to take tons of time with one person doing a massive project like that. But for the prototype, I would research on how to make it so you know how to market it properly, and so you know how to actually talk to your consumers and describe to them what they're buying and the functionality of it and the uniqueness of it and what it has to offer them. But yeah, you want to get outside perspectives. If you're not Rick Rubin, I classify myself as a Rick Rubin, then I would suggest getting someone outside with stylistic taste to confirm or deny if your product has that superior edge for exponential growth among a higher income target market, because you're going to need something that looks appealing. It's going to make up for a lot of the difference, not only for being unique, but looking appealing between the cost of goods sold and the actual sales price. Use AI for general material pricing estimates and sizes. Copper, sterling, faux, gold, and sizes was like 31.5 squared inches for material needed on the external part of the wallet. That's how you know roughly. It doesn't have to be exact, because obviously you don't even need exact numbers. You're marking up the sales price so high, it doesn't matter as much initially if you're off on the estimate of cost, especially when you're in prototyping phase. But you want to know a rough estimate of cost so you're not like getting into something and realizing you're going to be spending a lot more on it. Like, imagine if you just decided you wanted to do pure solid gold as a luxury item and price it at $1,200, but then you realized you need 50 grams of gold on the exterior of the wallet, and that's like $3,500 of gold.
50 gold gram is currently worth $3,606 and 82 cents.
So yeah, you don't want to be totally off. You got to use some kind of knowledge or research or basis, AI, Google, whatever, to kind of know your cost of goods sold, even in a product like this that you can mark the sales price up so high on. And you can kind of know, once again, the dimensions of your product, and you can use that whenever you get questioned for pitching and selling this product. Also, for design conception, you want to use AI. It's not going to give you what you want yet in AI's current format. Like, it's not going to give you precisely, no matter what you prompt it, the design that you're thinking, but it's going to give you a general idea of how you want your product to look. And then you can kind of base that off that, take it into Paint, adjust it, add some text specifications to it if you're taking it to an outside source to manufacture, and work on it from there. It's a good baseline these days. Eventually, AI will probably get to the point where you can prompt it properly for what exactly you want it to look like, but it's still not quite there. But then you want to get a working prototype through just consumer routes like Etsy. You could truly figure this out through YouTube videos and probably make this and design a product like this yourself as a prototype for the first initial product, because it's so small and simplistic. Like, it's a wallet, guys, because you don't want to be looking at watches. You don't know the inner workings of a watch. You don't want to be looking at prescription glasses. That's a whole nother ball game. So once you have your working prototype, people are going to love this. Pre-orders through crowdfunding or through actual pre-orders through a landing page. You have your initial funding, and that's when you look into hiring for a small first product line drop. So you've got the investments, you're going to make maybe 50 wallets. At this point, 50 wallets, it doesn't even matter how you advertise. You're going to eventually sell those if you try hard enough. So we're going to see the success of this product, and eventually that's going to get you more people coming to you through just word of mouth. And this is where you decide, say you make $8,000 profit, or however much profit you're making on this one drop here. I would throw this back into the business. Use it on advertising. I would start going to boutiques and selling for a cut, retail cut. Make sure you have a website and a landing page for these people with a newsletter for new release notifications, because that's just standard in any, especially product-oriented business. And I would take this back into advertising, put it into something like Instagram, because that's where, once again, the wealthier generation and influencers are at with proper reel branding. You could probably do this free of cost, but what's going to cost you is putting the Instagram reel non-organic If you know any high-end influencers as well, you could even do influencer marketing. I don't know if I would suggest something like this because a lot of people who watch influencers, not gonna lie, are poor unless it's financial influencers. So question mark on that one. Don't know about that one, but you would basically just have an influencer try and sell and sponsor your product. You could probably get 2 decently sized influencers for an $8,000 budget to go back into this. So you could use the cash you have on hand, get more investing, or focus on pre-orders again. And then you would use your actual cash on hand to put into basically non-organic ad CPM on Instagram, in my opinion, because any high-end fashion, that's going to be the best place to put all your money. And you want to start an Instagram account with relatable, high-quality videos that are fashionable, artistic in nature, that appeal to, once again, your high income, likely very flamboyant, honestly, target audience in this case. At a point, you'll just see organic growth. You won't even have to pay for CPM anymore. You'll see organic growth. Fashion design apparel is one of the few ads that actually gets followers direct to their Instagram account because people are like, oh, I can't buy that right now. I'm going to buy it later. So I'm going to follow this account and remember this website for when I can buy it because it's such a hard ad to even find. Rich people buy stuff. They go out a lot. People are going to see the wallet. They're going to be like, what's that wallet? It's going to be branded on the front with your etching design in the bottom corner. So at that point, if you have just all this extra cash, that's when I would invest in SEO so they can just search the wallet, brand name, make sure it's distinguishable. Yeah, I'm writing in print now. And once they see that and they're able to search you and find your website, you have to have good SEO. And you can invest in this outsourcing or just do some research on it. Honestly, for something as small as this and as niche as this, you could probably figure out your own SEO tactic to get ranking towards the top whenever they search your brand name, if it's identifiable enough. And SEO, if you don't know, stands for search engine optimization. It's just basically when they search your name, the first thing you want to show up is your product, at least under the ads. Or you can put it as an ad on Google to show up front and center, but I wouldn't do that until you have a super scalable size of business. Organically, your SEO should be fine if it's just a few scrolls down. And once again, this is a high-end product. It's going to sell eventually if you get the funding, you get the prototype up, because it's a distinguishable product. It has nothing else comparable like it. It combines 2 types of unique styles into one. As long as it's stylable and you think people could pull it off in a day-to-day routine and it's durable, then I think any kind of product like this would sell. Even if you pay tons in marketing, you're still going to net zero at the end of the day and possibly profit even, and still get more brand exposure for the long term of your business. So that's the peanut butter and jelly, and you can use this product idea or any relatable idea. Obviously you can modify this. Once again, I would suggest you make a unique, distinguishable product that has a fashionable design, that has a semi-low cost of goods sold, but also a high net profit margin that you can mark up and sell as a luxury good, because rich people can spend money on what they want, and wallets, Rolexes, commonplace in high income culture. So that's my mind for today. That's my product line I was thinking about developing, and anyone's free to use it. Obviously, take this all with a grain of salt. Disclaimer warning, this could fail as a product launch. It could have success. If it does have success though, and if you use this in any capacity, make sure and contact me. Share your success story with me. I'll put it on my website. And if you want to develop this product with a partner in mind, hit me up for consulting services. As well, I just offer general hourly one-on-one consulting services. Only schedule those with me if you really have the means to do so, because I value my time a lot. Also, I offer one-on-one PDF consulting where I will make you a PDF document 1, 2, or 3 pages long to solve any problem you possibly have that I have the knowledge of solving. Just make sure and click my link in the description below. Please leave a positive comment once again to satisfy Gemini's new algorithm on the YouTube channel here. Subscribe and like as well if you want to, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks for delving into my mind.